Girls, this is the last but one problem in mergers and acquisitions where the problem goes like this. X Limited plans to take over Y Limited. So here X is the acquiring company and Y is the target company which is getting absorbed in X company in future. Ask you to consider the following, where details of X and Y are as follows. Number of equity shares is 10,000 and 5,000. Profit after tax is 1 lakh and 50,000. MPS, market price per share, is 20 and 15. Compute share exchange on the basis of EPS, MPS and stated basis. What is stated basis? I hope you remember. If for one share, these are the shares which will be offered. Like that, if something is mentioned in the problem itself, the share exchange ratio, then it is called as stated basis. In case of stated basis, please remember the share exchange ratio will be directly mentioned in the problem. You need to calculate only number of shares to be absorbed, number of shares to be issued. So stated basis, if the acquiring company offers 3 of its shares for every 4 shares held in the Y company, for every 3 shares in the X company, they are going to issue how many shares? 4 shares of X company. Then next you need to calculate table showing accretion or dilution of EPS under each method of share exchange, that is increase or decrease in EPS under each case. If shares are issued on the basis of EPS, whether it is accretion or dilution for shareholders, again on MPS, again on stated basis, pre-merger, post-merger, what is the changes that you need to do. Then, if PE ratio of acquiring company remains unchanged, the acquiring company current PE ratio we need to calculate for this. If that is not changed, what is the MPS after the merger? We are assuming that the PE ratio of the acquiring company remains same even after the acquisition or the merger. Therefore, if it remains unchanged, what is the new PE ratio which you get? That we need, what is the new MPS we need to calculate, and then with the new MPS whether shareholders are getting benefited or not, what are the gains to shareholders if any, that we need to calculate, and compute details based on the stated share exchange. So you need to compute details of all this with the given data. Now let's start with the share exchange ratio calculation and number of shares to be issued to the Y company on the basis of EPS, MPS and stated basis. Calculation of number of shares to be issued. In the first case, share exchange is based on EPS. So EPS, they have given us profit after tax and number of equity shares. With that we need to calculate EPS of both companies and then number of shares to be issued. Start with calculation of EPS. This is the formula. In case of X company, profit after tax is 1 lakh. Number of equity shares is 10,000. Y company, it is 50,000 divided by 5,000. So therefore in both cases your EPS is 10. Now if EPS is 10, we need to calculate number of shares to be issued. EPS of the target company is also 10, of the acquiring company is also 10. Number of shares in Y company is 5,000. Therefore, number of shares to be issued is 5,000. Then second basis, share exchange is based on MPS. Start with a calculation. MPS is already given, X company, Y company, where your MPS is 20 and 15. Number of shares to be offered or issued under this basis will be MPS of the acquiring company, target company is 15, acquiring company is 20 into 5000 shares. 15 divided by 20 into 5000 shares, which is 3750. Then the last basis which you have is the stated basis. Girls, you be little alert when you are learning this. See, it is mentioned in the problem that for every 3 shares, see the statement goes like this. Stated basis, if the acquiring company offers 3 shares of its shares for every 4 shares held in Y Limited. So every 4 shares they have in Y Limited, they are going to receive 3 shares from X Limited. So if they have 1 share, see it is mentioned like this, for 4 shares they are receiving 3 shares from the X Limited. Now for every 1 share, how much are they going to receive is the question. So which is 1 into 3 by 4, which is 0.75. So how many shares they have? Y company has 5000 shares into 0.75. So therefore it will be 3750 shares. Now girls, we have calculated the solution for the first question which you have, share exchange on the basis of EPS, MPS and the stated basis, and number of shares for to be offered in each case. Look at the second question. Table showing accretion or dilution of EPS under each method of share exchange. Now if these shares are offered, whether it is beneficial to the company, to the shareholders, or it is disadvantageous, is what you need to calculate now. For that you need to calculate post merger EPS. How do you calculate your post merger EPS? Your post merger EPS will be combined profit after tax, that is your profit after tax of X company, profit after tax of Y company, divided by number of shares in new company, that is together how much it is. Now let us calculate EPS if shares are exchanged on the basis of EPS itself. Share exchange is based on EPS. Now girls, what is combined profit after tax? In the first case it is 1 lakh plus 50,000. 1 lakh plus 50,000. Your X company has 10,000 shares plus for Y, if share exchange basis is EPS, you need to give 5,000 shares divided by 5,000. It is 1,50,000 divided by 15,000 which is 10 per share. Now second basis which you have is your share exchange based on MPS. If MPS is the basis, then together 1 lakh plus 50,000 will be 1 lakh 50,000 divided by your X company has 10,000 shares, it is given in the problem, and Y company has 3,750. So it will be 13,750. 1 lakh 50,000 divided by 13,750, 10.9 per share. Then third one, share exchange based on stated basis, which is 1 lakh 50,000 divided by 10,000 in case of X, 3,750. So here also your EPS will not change, girls. It will remain same now like the previous case. Now we need to calculate table showing accretion or dilution. Now under this you have two companies and you have three bases on the basis of EPS, MPS, stated basis. And you have two companies XY, XY, XY. So post merger EPS, in the first case it is 10 rupees. For both companies it will be same, so we are writing same 10 rupees. And in case of your MPS it is 10.9, and in case of stated basis also it is 10.9. Then what is your pre-merger EPS? Pre-merger EPS we have calculated already, which is 10 rupees and 10 rupees in both cases. So whichever is the basis, before merger means it is same. It is 10 in all the cases. So when you subtract this, here there is no gain or no loss, neither accretion nor dilution. And here it is accretion of 0.9 in all cases. So in all cases we have accretion of 0.9. The next question which we have is, if PE ratio of the acquiring company remains unchanged, what is MPS after merger and what are gains to the shareholders if any? So here we are assuming that the PE ratio of the acquiring company is remaining same. So what is PE ratio of acquiring company before merger? PE ratio equals MPS divided by EPS. So for the X company, MPS before merger given is 20 rupees and EPS we have calculated already, which is 10 rupees. So therefore it is 2. So for the new company, that is for the combined firm, post merger MPS you need to calculate. So 2 is your P ratio, MPS divided by EPS. Now the question you may get is, what is the EPS post merger? we have calculated if MPS is taken as the basis, your post merger EPS is 10.9, which we have calculated. Take that as your EPS. MPS divided by 10.9, where your value will be MPS 21.8. So per share it is 21.8. You need to do the table showing gains or loss to shareholders, where you have X company, Y company and total on the another side. So post merger, your market capitalization. What is market capitalization? MPS per share into number of shares, which is 10,000. Your market capitalization is 2,18,000. Then 21.8 into 5,000. So which will be 1,09,000, and the total is 3,27,000. Then what is your pre-merger market capitalization? Pre-merger it will be, your MPS was how much? It is given in the problem already, which we have taken before, where it is 20 rupees and 15 rupees. So 20 rupees into 10,000, 15 rupees into 10,000, which will be 2 lakhs and 1 lakh 50,000. So therefore your gains or loss you need to calculate. 2,18,000 minus 2 lakhs, the difference between these two is 18,000, which is gains to shareholders. Then here 1,09,000 was before, and now it is, oh girls, here we had actually 5,000 shares, which is 75,000. Sorry for this. So 1,09,000 minus 75,000 is 34,000. So overall the total is 2,75,000, and here we have 52,000, 18,000 plus 34,000, which is 52,000 is the total gain to the new company's shareholders. I hope you have followed it. If you have any doubt, message through your class reps.